Alright, so we're talking about making juggling balls today. The focus is on making bulk juggling balls, so how to make these efficiently and quickly. We're going to make them like Russian style out of, these are play pit balls. You could use any hard plastic ball that's hollow on the inside. Some people use wiffle balls before the holes are drilled, things like that. But we're going to use these play pit balls because they're cheap and they come in a huge volume. So let's get started. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need an X-Acto knife or a drill depending on what kind of ball you're using. You're going to need some electrical tape, a funnel with a really small entrance. I 3D print these myself. If you would like one, you can reach out to me if you would like to buy one. You're going to obviously need the ball. I'm using a cup that happens to be the exact volume of about a fourth of the ball's volume. You want to fill the ball like about a fourth of the way up if you're just looking at it from the side. And then you need iodized salt. You want iodized because it helps keep moisture out of the ball. You do not want moisture to get into that ball, trust me. And then we've got a hot glue gun here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my cup with salt here. In my case, I have it filled up to this line on the inside. You can do this by mass as well. But it's a lot slower. So if you have a cup that's like a predetermined volume, that's going to save you a lot of time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut an X in the ball where I can stick the funnel in. In my case, I'm doing it right on this seam because that's the part that has the most structure. It's a little harder to do if you don't do it on that seam. And I think a little more likely to break. And then in my case, these are really flimsy, so I have to kind of squeeze the sides to get the funnel in. But then pretty straightforward from here. I'm just going to dump the cup of salt into the funnel, let it fill up. And the reason we have hot glue, you don't necessarily need to use hot glue. You could just tape it. But what tends to happen is the salt sticks to the tape and renders the tape not sticky, and then it comes off. So using hot glue just creates a little barrier between the salt and the tape that keeps it from breaking. So then we got that part down. I'm going to try to flatten this out a little bit. I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue . And then I'm going to cut about, say 10 to 12 inches of electrical tape. It's not an exact science, especially if your goal is to move quick. You don't need to spend a ton of time measuring your tape out. You just want to have enough to cover this spot with the glue twice. So I'm going to make sure I'm just gently stretching the tape. If you stretch it too much, it tends to shrink and then come off. But you want to stretch it a little bit so it's flush. And then I'm going to overlap it over that glue spot. So we've got two pieces of tape essentially over that glue. And then we're done. So there you go. Yeah, different ways to cut down on time. I've found that it's a little bit risky of tipping your salt over, but if you set your funnel up like this and pour the salt in, usually you can just leave it on top of this cup to fill, and then you can use another funnel to do the next one. Also, like I said earlier, having a cup like this that's the volume you want speeds it up a ton. It takes so long to weigh out all the salt. But yeah, there you have it. Best of luck. Feel free to reach out if you have questions.